Welcome back to Wimborne Road for our visit of the Peterborough Panthers in the Elite League A, coming up to one of the last of our Elite League A fixtures. Well, after the euphoria of last week, seeing the Robins being defeated by 18 points here at Wimborne Road, I've got to say that the Pirates received a very summary slap in the face 24 hours later when they went to Blunston and they were defeated by 14 points. We spoke to Neil Middleditch and we did say that it must have been a big disappointment.
Yeah, to put it mildly, I mean, it was sort of going along swimmingly, 27 all, and I thought, well, we could perhaps nip this, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off. Their new Polish boy hopped out at the start and had a couple of great rides, and my boys just seemed to go backwards, whether it was complacency or what. But I didn't say that to them. I mean, I said, we've got to keep going. I said, the bonus point's basically safe, and look at it, we almost went to heat 15 for a runoff.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because in Heat 14 we've read about it, but just describe that for a moment, because that was almost unthinkable that Antonio unfortunately just shut off and he had the tactical ride.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he knew he had double points, and I mean, I think the thing with Antonio, he gets very disappointed in himself when he's not having a good race, and I think he sort of came across the line and went, well, I've not knocked it off early. Bjarne's right behind him, had to swerve, to miss him. I think in fact he said he did touch, and nothing Bjarne can do because these things don't have brakes. And, I was very disappointed at the time. I mean, it's just impetuousness of youth, I suppose, if you like, but it could have cost us dearly. Luckily, Heat 15, I said to the boys, Bjarne and Ryan, all you got to do is split them. Ryan made a good start, dropped it on Jono, story over. But, I mean, yeah, it was touch and go.
Fortunately, you have managed to keep that bonus point, and we're back here today, as it were, completely different set of circumstances. The Panthers are in town, and again, they've got a wealth of track experience here at Poole.
Yeah, I mean, they're the form team at the moment, I think, and, although they're not sort of right up the top there, but they're sort of there and thereabouts, and they're, with Havy, he's going to love it around here tonight, and, obviously Lee, Richardson, Alice, Lukas, it's like two Poole teams out here, isn't it? So, yeah, I've just said to the boys, we've really got to get our wits about us, and, got to make some starts, really got to be keen.
They did, of course, come here early in the season, and it was early in the season for them. It's very different now, of course. They've found their feet. They've started to gel together as a team. They've got a few more matches under their belt, so they're certainly going to be a different team to that we saw early on.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's it. I mean, you look at the scores they've had of late. I mean, Havy's had 14, 15, and he's not even in a heat leader role. So, I mean, they're pretty useful, certainly around here, and having the track knowledge that they've got.
And of course, we're looking forward now to the Pirates. The order's likely to change, but not until June the 1st, I gather.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's when the averages actually change. So then we'll sort of sit down, Matt and Mike and myself, and sort of decide who we think is going to be best with who, which is going to be best for the team.
Well, I don't envy you that choice.
No, it's a tough one. You've got to try and look, you don't want weak pairings. You want to try and get at least a good middle order. If the one guy can win the race, maybe. I don't like to say the weaker rider, but he can maybe pick up a third. That's heat advantages. What you don't want is 5-1s against you. I mean, then it gets costly, and then I've got to play catch-up.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope that doesn't be the case tonight. Certainly we wouldn't expect it here at Wimborne Road, and have a good one.
OK, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, making a welcome return to Poole after riding for the Pirates in 2003, Alice DRYML. Alice DRYML, welcome back. And, of course, this has been a happy hunting ground for you in previous years, previous performances. You're looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, of course, all the team is looking for tonight. I think, me and my brother especially like this track very much, so I think we can give the Poole riders here a good run, and we hope we can, we will try definitely to win here, and you'll see it will be very tough because all the home riders go very well here.
I've got to say that last time you were here at the beginning of the season in the challenge match, I predicted that Peterborough Panthers would go very well here because of the track experience that you'd got. It didn't happen on that occasion, but you feel a bit more confident tonight, hopefully.
Of course, the first match here, it was in the start of the season. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 matches before, so we wasn't right fired up for it, and the track was a little bit, not perfect, and it's playing just against us. So I just hope it will be much better today, and we make a good racing.
And are you feeling happy now, settled into the Panther side?
Yeah, I think I like the Peterborough track as well. It's quite big. It's quite similar what I'm used to in my home country in Pardubice. So yeah, I like it there and settling down and like it there.
Good. Well, it's great to have you back at Poole. Look forward to seeing you in action tonight. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm pleased to see Ryan Sullivan looking a little bit more relaxed, although he tells me he's feeling perhaps a little bit tired after the travelling that he's been doing. But Ryan, now that you've got your feet under the table, as it were, is it great to be back here at Poole?
Yeah, it is for sure. Really enjoyed it. I've done a couple of meetings now and really starting to enjoy it. Team spirit's great, and I'm still trying to come to grips with the track, waiting on some new equipment, but you know, I feel like I'm making progress.
I certainly would say that you have made progress. I mean, your first 2 outings have been superb, and you must be happy with the way things have gone.
Yeah, you know, it's been good. You know, I have been pleased, and it's gone pretty well. So, but still plenty of room for improvement, which is good.
Now tonight, of course, it's the visit of the old club. The Panthers are back in town, as it were. Any scores to be settled?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, I'd like to get a nice win over them here. That'd be nice.
Well, I think we'd all like to see that as well, but no doubt they're going to have different ideas, and they're going to be some tough opposition there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they probably know the track better than what I do at this stage. You know, the DRYML's rode here last year. Lee Richardson's ridden here before for a season, so you know, still got a lot of work to do. They're a tough team, and I think it's going to be tough around here today.
If we can just briefly talk about the Grand Prix, much more successful campaign, I've got to say, in Czechoslovakia at the weekend. In Prague at the weekend. And I've got to say now that you're moving back in the right direction.
Yeah, everything's come together. As I say, I'm still waiting on some equipment. You know, I'm struggling really with that. I'm just waiting on parts to turn up and engines, and once they get completed, I know I'm going to be a lot quicker, hopefully. So once that comes, I'm right on the ball again.
Okay, well, good to see it. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck tonight.
Thanks very much.
Well, another man, of course, making another very welcome return back to Poole, Gary Havelock. Gary, great to see you here. Great servant to the Poole Club, of course, but tonight for the Peterborough Panthers.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's always nice to come back to Poole. You know, I have real fond memories of the place and good affiliation with the fans. They always give me a good reception here when I come back. And, you know, but as I say, Speedway is, you know, it's only a small world. There's not many clubs and riders move about. It's the way it is. And, you know, I'm a Peterborough rider now, and I'm going to try and get it on for Peterborough because we need points badly.
Absolutely, we'd expect nothing different. And I've got to say for you, you've been doing just that particularly well this year. Form really has come back well, hasn't it?
Yeah, everything's going really good this year so far. You know, I try not to get too complacent because Speedway can change pretty quickly. But you know, I think one of the main things is last season I wasn't fit. You know, I had the crash here at Poole the year before and I broke my arm really badly. And you know, I went for an X-ray before the season, about 2 weeks before press day, beginning of last season, and my arm hadn't healed. And basically, the surgeon advised me against riding, but you know, as speed riders do, you don't ride, you don't earn any money. So you know, I started the season off, but you know, I wasn't right mentally because of my arm really. So it took a while, and then I had a bad knocking at my knee, and it was only up and down seasons really. But this year I've came back fully fit, and everything's gone good so far.
I've got to say the Peterborough side looks good. It looks as though we're building on some strength there, but have you been disappointed that they perhaps haven't clicked as you might have hoped? It's
been disappointing, but it was always going to be difficult. You know, you have a team with 6 new riders in from the year before. It's always going to be difficult. People to fit in and the team to start to gel together. And you know, we did struggle to start with, and you know, probably the reason we struggled more than anything was our 2 top riders, Lee and Lukas, weren't doing it early on. You know, Lee's turned the corner now. He's on a hot streak of form, which is good. Lukas is still, you know, struggling with this and that. And, you know, I think on paper, if we can actually get Lukas going, as we are, we'd be a very formidable team against anybody. And of course, down here at Poole tonight, you've got as many riders down here with track experience, probably as the Pirates. Yeah, you know, it doesn't always count for anything, but you know, we've turned the corner. We started winning a few home meetings now. That's the main thing. We've been close, a couple of away matches. We just need to pick up some points on our travels, but you know, it's going to be tough tonight. But all the boys up for it, and we'll see how we go. Okay, well, have a good one. Thanks for talking to us. Thanks a lot. Well, I've got to say that in contrast to the last 2 weeks when we've been sweating on the weather conditions, with the wet weather threatening to call off at least 2 of our last meetings, I've got to say we're sweating on the weather for an entirely different reason tonight. The sun has come out, it's bright, and it's one of the warmest days of the year. And I'm sure that they'll be wondering whether or not they can actually keep the moisture in the track this evening. Well, now it's time to get on with the racing. Let's see if they can keep the moisture, and let's go and join Rob and Graham on the tower.
Heat 1, and Jason Lyons in the red helmet, lining up on gate 1, alongside Lukas DRYML in the green helmet, Bjarne PEDERSEN in the blue helmet, and gate 4 on the wide outside, the young Pole, signed by Peterborough this season, Thomas Piech. It's Heat 1, sunny evening here at Wimborne Road. Track just receiving a little bit of extra watering right up until the riders literally were 30 seconds from the tapes in an attempt to keep down the dust for another great crowd turnout here this evening to watch this Elite League fixture. Okay. Riders under orders now. Little movement there from Jason Lyons, which I think just allowed Lukas DRYML to make the jump. He's out in front. Lukas DRYML out in front from Jason Lyons, Bjarne PEDERSEN and Thomas Piech. Bjarne PEDERSEN had to drive hard up the inside of the young Poole coming out of the pit stern. And as so often happens in the early stages, the rider's a little cautious. The track just having received that dousing of water, and it enables Lukas DRYML to stretch out in front in what looks like a fairly Indian file Heat 1. And with a lap to go, a drawn race is very much on the cards. Lukas benefiting from that sharp gate from grid 2. Head home the two Pirates, former teammates of course. Thomas Piech now trailing quite significantly back in 4th spot, and not an awful lot of excitement for the crowd to warm to in race 1, but they see that the Pirates take a share of the spoils with the scoreline 3 points to each side. On to race 2, see if we can get a bit of excitement this time. We should have. We've got Antonio Lindback in the red helmet. He's going from grid 2, and the Pirates all Swedish reserve pairing. Daniel Davidsson in the yellow helmet, in the blue helmet rather, going from 4. Opposition comes from Henning BAYER in green, lining up on gate 1, and Brent WERNER, guest in for Ricky Ashworth, is in yellow on gate 3. Off they go, and Antonio Lindback, sharp from the gate there, makes a good turn, looks over his shoulder, sees Daniel Davidsson alongside him, and got a good understanding, these two young riders for Poole, and Antonio there allows his partner to take the wide line around the outside, and that's a nice bit of team riding with Henning BAYER in 3rd place, and Brent WERNER right at the back there, trailing somewhat. He was quite a prolific scorer the last time he appeared here as a guest against the Pirates, but he's not actually doing it tonight. I believe on that occasion he was in the colours of Arena Essex. I may be wrong, but certainly he was quite a point scorer on that occasion. Not tonight though, and with a lap to go, the Pirates holding a comfortable 5-1, give the Wimborne Road faithful something to cheer as they come around with half a lap to go. Daniel Davidsson, perfect answer to some of his recent internet critics as he takes a checkered flag with 3 points. Antonio Lindback had absolutely no critics at Poole so far this season, perhaps a few from away tracks because he's scoring so many points against them, but he's been absolutely tip-top, and he was that time with a great spot of team riding on the first bend, and it means that the Pirates in the lead by 8 points to 4.
So on a glorious evening down here on the south coast.
So on to race number 3, and Pirates with that 4-point lead. What can they do here with skipper Magnus ZETTERSTROM and Davey WATT on the inside gate positions? Davey in blue goes from gate 1, and Magnus, the skipper, on grid 3 in the red helmet. For the Panthers, a couple of former Pirates in the shape of Lukas DRYML. He's goes from grid 2 in green, and Gabby Havelock starts from grid 4 in the yellow helmet. So Peterborough Panthers then, with a couple of recent home victories at the expense of Eastbourne and Wolverhampton, both close matches, and can they force a close result here this evening? We'll have to see. This is Heat 3, normally a fairly even race, no superstars, no weak links, and any one of these 4 riders, if they make the trap, can win this race as the tapes go up, and it's Lukas DRYML who gets away smartly with Davey WATT and Zorro trailing, and Gary Havelock right at the back, and Gary having a good go at Davey WATT and comes through into 3rd place at Davey's expense. So Lukas DRYML out in front, Magnus ZETTERSTROM 2nd, 3rd Gary Havelock, and 4th Davey WATT. Very close in the minor places there, and Gary Havelock looks like he's going to have a go at Magnus, but with half the race gone, Magnus, although not looking as supercharged as he was 7 days ago at home to Swindon, nevertheless is steady there in 2nd place, taking his care on a track which is still drying out after that early watering, and he does take a bit of a wide line there and allows a great big gap for Gary Havelock to come through. Gary says, well, thank you very much. I don't think I'll say no to that gap. And the two Pirates really struggling in that one. Magnus it was who hit a slick patch, went straight out towards the fence on the pit's turn, and of course Gary Havelock, whilst not always prolific point scorer from the back, couldn't resist that gap, and so that squares it all up. 5-1 to the Panthers, 9 points to each side. So just 3 races gone, but the Panthers have made it quite clear that the Pirates have got a battle on their hands tonight, and the scores are all square. See what Ryan Sullivan can do in heat number 4. He's in the red helmet and he goes from gate 3, fresh from his Grand Prix action in Prague. Daniel Davidsson is the other Pirate. He goes from 1 and he's in riding in blue. For the Panthers, it's Brent WERNER in yellow on grid 2, and Lee Richardson in green goes from grid 4, and away they go. And Daniel Davidsson it is who gets a great start, and he's out in front with Ryan Sullivan taking a very wide line around the pit's bend to try and join him. Lee Richardson takes a much tighter line and finishes back in 3rd place, as the two Pirates now look as if they're going to have a bit of spot of team riding. And Lee Richardson, in fact, takes a tumble on the pit's turn. It looks as if he can pick it up and get back on. Clearly there's a spot there that Magnus ZETTERSTROM hit in the last race, which is a bit slick. And whilst Magnus just managed to control it, Lee Richardson certainly didn't that time. He's had a few falls at Wimborne Road this season. He had one on turn 3, if I remember rightly, when Peterborough here previously. But this time it's the two Pirates out in front. Great first lap by Ryan Sullivan, joining fast starting Daniel Davidsson for a 5-1. So a bit of a topsy-turvy match. That's 2 races ending in 5-1s to the Pirates. Heat 4, the second of the 2, and it gives them a 14 points to 10 lead, with 3rd place bringing up the rear, Brent WERNER.
Well pleased with the performance of the unreserved waiting and helping you through to the front of the pack in heat number 4, and Ryan, the first one to shake the youngster's hand down the back straight. Race Speedway for the Pirates in heat number 4. So
on to race 5 then, with the Pirates 14-10 in the lead, and in this one they've got their pairing just recovering from a 5-1 reversal. I hope they can do a little bit better this time. Magnus ZETTERSTROM in red, Davey WATT in blue, out against Lukas DRYML in green and Thomas Piech in yellow. Panthers have the inside starting positions, and Lukas DRYML, on the form showed in the first race, must be favourite to take another 3 points here, unless the Pirates 3 and 4 pairings suddenly come to life. It'll be interesting to see how this battle shapes up once they get away. So Panthers yet to score any away successes this season. They've had some close home matches, but no points on their travels. Will they start here tonight? I think they'll cause an upset if they do, because the Pirates currently sitting comfortably at the top of the table. So away they go, and this time Magnus ZETTERSTROM getting a better start. In fact, Lukas DRYML goes a little bit wide, and Davey WATT takes a tumble. I wonder what the referee will think of that. Looks like the red light's on. Davey WATT not looking too impressed, and he shakes himself down. Looked very much as if that was first bend bunching, because and that is indeed the verdict. The referee's verdict, all 4 riders, first bend bunching. Davey just having to turn a little bit wider than he was able to control it, because Lukas DRYML came all the way from grid 3, and Davey, of course, was left on 4 with nowhere to go. Put it down. Looks as if he's all in one piece, just getting the bike back together there, ably assisted by Tony Primer. Ryan Sullivan out to just check that he's okay, and we'll have 4 riders back to the line in just a moment.
well, just to let you know that the
Okay, it's race number 5, the ReRun, as 4 riders back up. And just to remind you who they are, Thomas Piech in yellow, gate 1. Magnus ZETTERSTROM in the red helmet, gate 2. Lukas DRYML in the green helmet, grid 3, and he fell, but he's back again. Davey WATT on grid 4. Pretty even start that time. before that race was stopped. It looks as if Magnus ZETTERSTROM had a bit more power than he did first time out. It looked a bit more comfortable, and he just held an early first bend advantage. Let's see if he can do the same this time. Pirates faithful will be more than happy if he does, and also see if Davey WATT has no ill effects from that tumble. Well, indeed, Magnus ZETTERSTROM does get out. This time Davey WATT elects to try and do the drop, but came almost to a standstill, and in the meantime Lukas DRYML superbly passes Magnus ZETTERSTROM. So once again the Pirates 3 and 4 pairing not exactly amongst the points. So Lukas DRYML, as he did in Heat 1, is out in front. Magnus ZETTERSTROM in second, and Thomas Piech in the yellow helmet. Not scored very many points in the Elite League away from home this season, but it looks like he's going to get one here. In fact, if Magnus is not careful, he might find himself being attacked by the young Poole in the yellow helmet, and with a lap to go, Lukas DRYML relishing his return here, looking more comfortable than he did in Panthers' previous visit to Wimborne Road earlier in the season, and it looks like it's going to be 2 races and 2 wins as they come around the final turn. Lukas DRYML from Magnus ZETTERSTROM, Thomas Piech and Davey WATT trailing quite badly at the back there, and the Panthers take a 4-2 heat win, closes the gap from 4 points to 2 as the Pirates move on to 16 and the Panthers to 14. On to heat 6 then, 16-14 the scoreline. It couldn't be much closer. We've got Jason Lyons and Bjarne PEDERSEN, with Bjarne PEDERSEN on gate 1. Probably the sharper of the 2 gators, which is just as well, because right alongside him in the green helmet on 2, we've got Lee Richardson, and we know what he's like for gating prowess. And riders just coming into line. Lee's partner in this one is Henning BAYER, and as the meeting progresses, the sun sinking lower and lower into the sky, and this is the time when their start and entry into the first bend can be affected by the low sun. So that's just another factor for the riders to deal with here on an otherwise glorious spring evening at Wimborne Road. Good crowd, close scoreline. Let's see what happens in race 6. Bjarne PEDERSEN and Jason Lyons for the Pirates. Lee Richardson right between them, the major threat for the Panthers. Off they go, and Lee Richardson does get a very good start from gate 3, and as closely on the first bend, but what a pass that is by Bjarne PEDERSEN. Took Lee Richardson completely by surprise there, and Jason Lyons, for good measure, right alongside there. Looked as if he'd come round the outside, but he had to switch his visor to get some clear vision. So it's Bjarne PEDERSEN out in front, Lee Richardson, and in the yellow helmet for the Panthers, Henning BAYER holding 3rd place there. Jason Lyons having another go around the outside, switches to the inside. All action this time, but it's a 3-3. Lee Richardson trying again to go around the outside of Bjarne PEDERSEN, but Bjarne shuts the door with a lap to go. It's a 3-3 in this one. Bjarne PEDERSEN holding off a very, very strong challenge from Lee Richardson, but unfortunately and somewhat surprisingly, Jason Lyons unable to do anything about Henning BAYER and trails in for a last place. May not have expected that. Looks as if Jason was lively on the first lap, but wasn't able to sustain that challenge. And a share of the spoils, 3 to each side, 19 now to the Pirates, 17 to the Panthers. Well, now we're on to race 7. Just 2 points the lead for the Pirates. They really could do with a few points. And that means perfect cue for Ryan Sullivan and Antonio Lindback, because both unbeaten in their opening rides. But the same has to be said for Alice DRYML in the green helmet, who goes from grid 1. And come to that, Gary Havelock had a fairly good ride, so they had a 5-1 first time out. Ryan Sullivan featured in a 5-1 first time out, and so did Antonio Lindback. Something's definitely got to give here. So it's Alice DRYML on 1, Ryan Sullivan 2, Gary Havelock 3, Antonio Lindback 4. Eagerly awaited heat 7, could be a pivotal stage in the match with the Pirates just 2 ahead. And up go the tapes, and it looked as if it was Ryan Sullivan first away there from gate 2, Antonio Lindback right at the back, but probably not for long, because we know what he'll be up to. He'll be turning the throttle on and looking for an outside pass, which he achieves on Alice DRYML to relegate the check to the back. Gary Havelock in 2nd place behind Ryan Sullivan, and Antonio Lindback there looking for the best way past Gary. It could be that it'll have to be around the outside. We know that Gary is a bit of a white line expert, but at this stage, with half the race gone, the Pirates holding a 4-2. Ryan Sullivan out in front, Gary Havelock second, Antonio Lindback third, and Gary must be wondering when Antonio's going to mount that challenge. Probably a wider turn than Antonio would have liked, and he lost ground on Gary, but he made it up on the back straight. Just one lap to go now. It won't be without the want of trying. Gary Havelock takes a look over his shoulder. He sees Antonio right behind him, and Tony has another go around the outside, but Gary was determined to hold on to that second place, which he did do. So the Pirates have to be content with a 4-2, and Antonio Lindback has to be content with the third place. However, out in front from the start, always easier to do it that way, was Ryan Sullivan. Good race though, and it means that the Pirates move to 23, Panthers 19. So on to race 8, and a chance for the Pirates to put a few more points over the Panthers, because they've got the pairing of Bjarne PEDERSEN in red and Davidsson in blue. They're on gates 2 and 4. It's the pairing of Thomas Piech and Brent WERNER for the Panthers. Brent WERNER then in the yellow helmet goes from the inside. Thomas Piech in grid 3 position. Daniel Davidsson between the two Panthers in blue helmet on gate 2. And Bjarne PEDERSEN is on gate 4. Well, if they can get from the start this time, on the way the track is tonight, although it's not essential, it certainly seems to be a fair advantage here on this sunny evening. And Bjarne PEDERSEN from gate 4, long way over, but if he can get from the tapes, and Daniel Davidsson can get another one of his smart starts. He's got 2 wins already. The Pirates could be set up for a 5-1. Let's see what happens as the tapes rise. Away they go, and in fact Daniel Davidsson does get a good start, and Bjarne PEDERSEN does come around to join him. So the script so far is racing up perfectly. 2 Pirates out in front. It's Daniel Davidsson team riding with Bjarne PEDERSEN. Bjarne in front, Daniel second. Third in yellow is Brent WERNER, and fourth for the Panthers is Thomas Piech. So it's 5-1 here. The only downside, of course, is that this would allow the Panthers to immediately hit back with a potential tactical ride. But more of that later, as with a lap and a half to go. It's Bjarne PEDERSEN, Daniel Davidsson, and Brent WERNER is having a pretty good look at Daniel Davidsson here, looking quite lively this time after a couple of poor early races. Half a lap to go. The Pirates are going to hold on to that 5-1 unless something significant happens on the last bend, which it has not. And the Pirates take 5-1 from Bjarne PEDERSEN and Daniel Davidsson to move on to 28 points. Third was Brent WERNER, taking the Panthers on to 20.
So again, Scandinavian duo doing the biz.
So changes in race number 9 for Poole, with Antonio Lindback taking the place of out of form and so far pointless Davey WATT. Coming in, Antonio on gate 2 with Magnus ZETTERSTROM on 4. Tactical ride for the Panthers on 1, Lee Richardson, and his partner Henning BAYER. And the good start from Lee Richardson. Magnus ZETTERSTROM, though, coming right around the outside to pass him. Antonio Lindback up the inside. Goodness gracious me, what did the referee see there? I didn't see anything wrong with that, but he didn't like that first bend. And it was looked a pretty fair start to me, unless there was some movement out of the tapes. It'll be interesting to hear what the verdict was, but certainly Lee Richardson got passed by Magnus ZETTERSTROM on the outside, and Antonio Lindback on the inside. Maybe he'll be more prepared this time, and the Pirates won't be able to negate the efforts of the tactical ride for Lee Richardson, who we note is wearing the black and white helmet. So Antonio Lindback's come back into the pits. We'll be back with the restart just as soon as they've sorted themselves out. So I think the general consensus at the first attempt there was that Antonio Lindback was moving a little bit on the start line, although he got no advantage at all from any movement. In fact, the advantage was to the Peterborough Panthers. The only advantage seemed to be from the racing lines and the speed out of the pits turn, which was quite unrelated to any problem on the start line. So curious the way the referee read that, not stopping the race until Pirates were holding a 5-1. Let's see what happens this time, and once again Lee Richardson gets out of the gate, but this time Antonio Lindback seems to get a better one until he hits a big berm coming out there, and this time it's the Panthers, Lee Richardson there, who comes through to take the lead. Antonio Lindback second. Henning BAYER comes up the inside of Magnus ZETTERSTROM to take third place. And the Peterborough Panthers currently looking at a 7-2 advantage here, so we'll close an 8-point lead to a 3-point lead unless Antonio Lindback or Magnus ZETTERSTROM can do something about the two Panthers that they're challenging. But if anything, it looks as if Henning BAYER is making a bit of a challenge on Antonio Lindback. Magnus ZETTERSTROM trailing badly, and with a lap to go, it looks like a 7-2 heat win. So whereas first time out the Pirates looked as if they were going to get a 5-2 heat win, it's a 7-2 to the Panthers, although Antonio Lindback coming up to make a strong challenge. He never knows when he's beaten this young Swede, and maybe if it hadn't been for that unfortunate situation on the first bend where he reared coming midway around the first bend, who knows what might have happened there. But never knows when he's beaten, challenging all the way to the line, but nevertheless, although he's angry with himself, Antonio Lindback needn't be. It was Lee Richardson out in front who secures the 6 points, and with that 7-2 heat win, it's 30 points to the Pirates, 27 to the Panthers. So just 3 points between them as we come on to race 10, and another even racing prospect, could go either way. We've got Jason Lyons and Bjarne PEDERSEN for the Pirates, and it's Alice DRYML and Gary Havelock for the Panthers. Gary Havelock going from gate 1 in the yellow helmet. We've got Bjarne PEDERSEN alongside him in 2. Alice DRYML's on 3 and Jason Lyons on gate 4. Incidentally, last time out when Gary Havelock raced Ryan Sullivan, Ryan had immediately back in the pits had a word with Neil Middleditch. He felt that Gary had anticipated the start. There was some sort of rolling movement going on there, which Ryan felt the referee should have done something about. Let's see what happens this time, but they keep perfectly still. They seem to, and away they go, and Bjarne PEDERSEN gets a great start from skid 2 to hold on to the first bend in front of Alice DRYML in the green helmet and Gary Havelock in yellow. Bjarne PEDERSEN riding very wide there, but screwing it on. Once again, Jason Lyons a little bit disappointing at the back there. He's buzzing around Gary Havelock, trying an outside line, and it's all very tight, but at the moment, Jason at the back, and seemingly Gary Havelock determined to hold on to his third place behind his team partner. But Jason Lyons there trying all he knows to get past Gary Havelock. Gary trying to shut the door up the straight. Bjarne PEDERSEN out in front. There's not a lot between any of these riders, and with 3 laps gone, 1 to go, Jason Lyons still trying hard. He's only got 2 points from his 3 rides this evening if he finishes last here, which he won't be pleased about, but fortunately for the Pirates, Bjarne PEDERSEN remains steady out in front to take the checkered flag and share the spoils for the Pirates. It's still a close scoreline with just 5 races to go, but 33 to the Pirates and 30 to the Panthers. Well, the match at an important stage here in Heat 11, and we've got Ryan Sullivan and Antonio Lindback as potentially race winners for the Pirates, but Lukas DRYML and Henning BAYER for the Panthers, with Henning BAYER coming in to take the place of Thomas Piech, so that's a tactical move there by the Peterborough management, and they'll be hoping to take at least a share of the spoils in this one. Ryan Sullivan lines up from grid 1, Antonio Lindback from 3, and Henning BAYER is between the 2 Pirates on grid 2, and Lukas DRYML with 2 wins so far this evening, looking very comfortable out on the track, and he's on grid 4. Be interesting to see whether he can mount a serious challenge on Ryan Sullivan and how he gets on against Antonio Lindback. And in fact, it's the 2 Pirates who get out of the gate. Ryan Sullivan out in front, Antonio Lindback and Alice DRYML neck and neck up the back straight, but unfortunately for Poole, it's Lukas DRYML who has the better turn of speed, and Antonio Lindback once again stuck in third place, Henning BAYER at the back. Ryan Sullivan out in front, Lukas DRYML Antonio Lindback third. It looks as if the Pirates are going to take a 4-2 heat win here, although I'm sure that Antonio Lindback not finished yet. But with Lukas DRYML in front of him, a rider of that class, I've got a feeling that Antonio's going to have his work cut out. And with a lap to go, it looks as if they're going to hold those positions. Ryan Sullivan, very impressive so far this evening. This is his third race, and he's unbeaten so far by an opponent. Although Lukas DRYML really mounting a strong challenge on the last bend. Great speedway that, and Lukas almost caught Ryan unawares there, but Ryan held on there. Great speed coming out of the bend. Antonio Lindback in third place, and that moves the Pirates on to 37 and the Panthers on to 32.
Lukas and Ryan shake hands then.
Are you... So we're on to race 12, and in the red helmet, if you expect to see Magnus ZETTERSTROM, got a programme in front of you, you'll be disappointed because he's been replaced this time after disappointing 3 opening rides by Antonio Lindback. So Antonio, much in demand this evening, already come in for Davey WATT, who's also off colour. Now he's come in for the skipper, and he's pairing up, he's on gate 1, pairing up with Daniel Davidsson. So it's Poole 6 and 7 who come out on grids 1 and 3 to do battle with Henning BAYER in the yellow helmet, who goes from grid 2. Been in lively form so far this evening, and Lukas DRYML for the Panthers. Away they go, and the 2 Pirates get smartly from the tape. It's Antonio Lindback and Daniel Davidsson. Antonio looking round to see his young partner there, but Henning BAYER comes up the inside to relegate Davidsson to third place there, although Daniel trying hard up the outside. Lukas DRYML at the back, Antonio Lindback out in front. Pirates now looking to hold on to a 4-2 with Henning BAYER in lively form in the second spot this evening. Lukas DRYML there challenging on the inside of Daniel Davidsson. Daniel shutting the door on him, and halfway through the race, and it's still a 4-2. Henning BAYER very lively tonight, and unfortunately the 2 Pirates were unable to capitalise on that early first bend 5-1 potential situation. No stopping Antonio Lindback this time as he moves away around the last bend to take the checkered flag, and 3 points. Henning BAYER second, Daniel Davidsson third, and that makes the progressive scores 41 points to 34, so tantalisingly 1 point short of a potential for Peterborough to take a tactical ride, and perhaps that's the way Neil Middleditch would have liked it. He probably would have preferred a 4-2 than a 5-1 that time, such as the vagaries of Speedway these days with the rules. So we're on to race 13, and the Pirates' spearhead for this Battle of the Giants is very much an Australian flavour now, with the disappearance of Tony Richardson and his replacement by Ryan Sullivan. So Ryan Sullivan in the blue helmet goes from grid 4, and he's going to have his work cut out this time because he's got 2 sharp gaiters inside him from Peterborough, in the shape of Lukas DRYML in the green helmet, who goes from 1, and Lee Richardson in the yellow helmet, who goes from 3. Sandwiched between those 2 is Jason Lyons in the red helmet, who's had a very disappointing evening so far with 2 last places and a second in the opening race behind Lukas DRYML. So just 2 points from 3 starts. Pirates faithful will be hoping for a little more this time. They'll also be hoping that Ryan Sullivan can keep up his unbeaten form. 3 races, 3 wins. He's looked very, very sharp so far this evening, but of course he has got gate 4 this time, and got some snappy riders inside him. Let's see what happens on the first bend as the tapes go up. Away they go. Ryan Sullivan does get a very good start, but Lee Richardson gets a better one, and Lukas dribbles there. What a tight first bend that was, but what an excellent ride by Ryan Sullivan, and Jason Lyons too comes through, but Ryan Sullivan overcooking it coming out of turn 4, and he almost hits the fence, but he's back in contention again, and Lukas DRYML trying to drive upside him. All of that action allows Jason Lyons to come through. We've got one heck of a race here, and it's anybody's, with Lee Richardson coming up the inside of Jason Lyons, and Lukas DRYML passing Ryan Sullivan, and Ryan Sullivan now, for all his efforts, is right at the back, and the Peterborough Panthers holding on to a 4-2. Could be turned into a 5-1 because Lukas DRYML challenging strongly on Jason Lyons, who's having his best race of the evening. For Ryan Sullivan there, he probably hasn't recovered from hitting that slick patch on turn 4, and Lukas DRYML's going past Jason Lyons there, and he doesn't give him very much room at all, which allows the Panthers to take a final bend 5-1. Lukas DRYML enjoyed that, and he's going off on a celebratory lap. The Pirates did certainly not enjoy that, because their 7-point lead has been reduced to just 3 points. Lukas DRYML there, holding on to that second, or taking that second place. He's waving to his former admirers in the crowd. He's getting a bit of a mixed reception that time, because I think they felt that perhaps Jason Lyons didn't have all the room in the world, and Lukas certainly enjoyed it. So did Lee Richardson, so did the Panthers supporters, and enough said. The scoreline then 42 to the Pirates, 39 to the Panthers. Heat 14, and it's too close for comfort. 42 points to 39, the Pirates lead, and in Heat 14 they are having to track Davey WATT, who's had 2 last places and looking a little bit out of sorts. He's coming in on gate 1, but he's got to take 3 rides, and this is the third of them. He's out with Antonio Lindback, who's in the red helmet and goes from gate 3. That's, I think we've got those around the wrong way. I think it's Davey WATT in the red helmet and Antonio Lindback on gate 1 in the blue helmet. That's better. We've got Gary Havelock for the Panthers, and he's paired up with Brent WERNER. Brent WERNER then with 2 points from reserve ride. He could have a bit of a battle on his hands with Davey WATT, and Gary Havelock will be looking to get the better of Antonio Lindback. So intriguing race in prospect here as away they go, and Antonio indeed does get a good start, and he's out in front with WERNER smartly out in second place, and Gary Havelock tucked in third, Davey WATT trailing at the back. So the Pirates on for a potential drawn race here, which would maintain and preserve their 3-point advantage. So it's possibly going to be a last heat decider with just under half the race gone. Antonio Lindback comfortably out in front. We'll be hoping, keeping our fingers crossed, that he doesn't have any problems with the track. He's had 1 or 2 little hiccups this evening. Brent WERNER in second place, Gary Havelock third, and once again Davey WATT trailing in last place, and he's going to end up the evening with 3 last places, which perhaps with the imminent change in the riding order for the Pirates means that he'll have a chance to rebuild his confidence from one of the reserve positions. But as they come around the final bend, Antonio Lindback, once again the hero for the Pirates, wins Heat 14 ahead of Brent WERNER and Gary Havelock. Scoreline 45 points to the Pirates, 42 to the Panthers. So on to the all-important nominated race 15, and some drama for the Pirates, because Ryan Sullivan, we've now discovered that his last place in Heat 13 was due to his number 1 bike frame cracking, and he lost control during the race. So you saw that happen before your very eyes, which means he's not a starter in this all-important nominated race. It's a last heat decider. Pirates only 3 up, so they can't afford to let the Panthers get a 5-1 here. But the Panthers tracking their all-conquering pairing from Heat 13 of Lukas DRYML and Lee Richardson, and they look distinctly in 5-1 form. And the pairing for the Pirates is Bjarne PEDERSEN in the blue helmet, goes from grid 4, and it's Antonio Lindback, their young reserve, who comes in the red helmet to go from grid 2 to try and break up any first bend domination by Lee Richardson, Lukas DRYML. So that's a big ask of the young Pirate, and it's all on the last race. Pirates looking to at least split the Panthers, otherwise a shock away win is on the cards here, and away they go, and indeed it is a 5-1 in prospect here for the Panthers as they go down the back straight. But Bjarne PEDERSEN goes right around the outside there into second place, and he must hold on to that second place. In the lead in the green helmet we've got Lukas DRYML, Bjarne PEDERSEN in second, Lee Richardson third, and Antonio Lindback fourth. Antonio Lindback trying the outside of Lee Richardson there for all he's worth, and he comes alongside Richardson, and in fact he goes around the Panther. The Grand Prix rider is relegated to the back, and this would be enough to hold on to the league points and give the Pirates a share of the spoils in this race and a 3-point victory. What drama we've got, a lap to go. Lukas DRYML in the lead from Bjarne PEDERSEN and Antonio Lindback. Lee Richardson now trailing off. The Pirates are going to do it. It's a half a lap to go. much closer than we ever dared expect here, but nevertheless the Pirates hold on to the Elite League points. They really struggled here this evening with a number of riders out of form, but that didn't include Bjarne PEDERSEN and it didn't include Antonio Lindback. They are the heroes for the riders from the Poole Pirates. A first bend pass there by Bjarne PEDERSEN and a fine outside overtake by Antonio Lindback. Very, very brave riding indeed. Final score in this epic Elite League fixture here at Wimborne Road, 48 to the Pirates, 45 to the Panthers. Superb speedway.
So celebrations in the Pirates at the pits gates. We go over just to speak. And here he comes. Look at that. There's a lot of young issues still coming into the country. The three first rides were great.
Yeah. I was pleased with the first three. I was struggling to set up, and then I thought I'd done all the hard work in my fourth race, and really actually joined everyone for a hot dog at the stand.
What happened? Do you think it's a crack frame?
I think so. Something down there, and flex it all, just went straight.
Tremendous battle on track between ourselves and your former club, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I'm relieved to get a win. I really wanted to win. Well done with both days. He really gave it all, and he deserves it.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I am.
The smile on his face says it all, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, Ryan Sullivan! A difficult night for you personally, but the atmosphere, what a performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the last race when
Swedish now.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race, and it's just great to see how much effort they wanted to put in to win this race, so that was great.
Then on power tonight, what was the problem?
I don't know, it's speedway. Sometimes it's just happening, and same equipment, same rider, different day.
That's what it's all about. But the team got the win, that's amazing.
Absolutely, that's what we're here for, but it should be nice to have some good ones as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Magnus ZETTERSTROM!
Well, absolutely doing the business, and I've got to say, Bjarne PEDERSEN, that last one, heat 15, fantastic, pull out of the bag just when we needed it most.
We need minimum 2 points in the heat 15, so we need what we should do. So to get really good, and we get a 3-3. So we still get the important is to have a home meeting and win it. So we get that.
It's been a really hard night tonight. The Pirates have really been up against it, and certainly the atmosphere in the pits has been very, very tense. Is there any reason for that?
It's, they keep the really close on us a whole night, and some rider have a bad race, but I think still we're really good. We keep good together and help each other, and that is speedway.
It absolutely is speedway, and I've got to say, a couple of the Pirates have been down on their form. They've not been performing perhaps as they would have wanted to. And last year, I've got to say, perhaps you would have been in that position where you weren't getting what you wanted to get out of it. You've turned the corner. What sort of advice can you give to those riders? Because it clearly is, it gets them down. I know that.
That is a big question, I'm still have a little bit problem this year in Sweden for the moment, and I really tried to do exactly the same I do in England, but it's not working for the moment, and I really don't know. I can use some of the Indian in Sweden on the Tuesday and take it over here on the Wednesday, and it's working for me over here, but not Sweden. It's difficult to say. I really don't know what. It's only to keep the head up and try, and It's hard work. You work for it all the time, and one day that'll turn around again. So.
Well, it has done for you, and I'm glad to see it. Great to see you in such good form. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say that is one of the hardest night works that I've seen the Pirates put in for some time, and certainly the closest result here in 2004, with the Pirates just gaining victory by those 3 points. Well, for me, perhaps the star of the show would be Daniel Davidsson with that score of 8 paid 10, and I'm not the only one that thinks so, because that earned him Rider of the Night as well. Well, the Pirates now have got a break of 7 days before they're back in action, and they'll be back in action here at Wimborne Road on Wednesday next, and we'll be there, of course, to cover it. Right now, though, we're going to go to our feature on this edition, which is the first of our Pirate Profiles.